So welcome to my YouTube channel. That's what we call The Good Life. Today I'm up my allotment and we're going to be talking about all the jobs you can be doing up your allotment or in your home garden in the month of March. First of all, I'd like to say hello to all my regular viewers. I know there's a lot of you out there. I do hope you're getting off to a really good start, and I'd also like to say a very warm welcome to anyone new, and I do hope this channel gives you lots and lots of tips and inspiration so you have a successful year. So first of all, I'm going to be talking about all the things you can be doing in March, and there is such a lot of things. As you can tell, it's definitely getting some warmer days at the moment, so to do some jobs now is really going to give you a good head start, so you can really pace yourself all throughout the year, so it's really more manageable, and it's actually quite enjoyable starting to do a few things now because you really feel like you're moving forward. There's all sorts of things I'm going to be covering. You could be mulching, weeding, planting, sowing, and there's really lots and lots of things you can be doing, but there are some things you really do need to bear in mind, of which I'm going to talk about as we go through, so hopefully you get the really good start that you're hoping for. Now, the most important thing is, while you can be sowing things out and you can be planting things, is to be really mindful about the weather. The sun is shining today, it's absolutely beautiful and the birds are singing, but by the next minute it can be really quite chilly and quite cold. So if you're going to start planting things outside, you really need to make sure they're things that can go outside this time of year, or have been hardened off so they'll be okay, because there's some things you're going to need to keep tucked up indoors, or wait and get them off your garden centre, or start sowing them a little bit later in the year. So one of the things you can be doing, which I've already done, is you can force your rhubarb on to get yourself a little bit of an earlier crop. Now, I've already covered some of mine up, and as you can see, my other rhubarb, it still isn't looking too shoddy. Now, we only covered this 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, not that long ago, just to see what difference it would make, and as you can see, oh my goodness, what a difference. So that means that this weekend I can have some lovely rhubarb. Now, a top tip, if you've never grown rhubarb before, is you don't cut it, you pull it. So you basically kind of pull it right from the base and slightly twist it. One of the mistakes people think is that they need to cut it. You want to pull it and twist it so that you take the whole bit off from the base, just like that. Now, I shall take myself some bits because I'm definitely going to be having some cooked rhubarb. Works really well with a bit of orange and honey, so absolutely lovely. So that's a little bit of rhubarb. You can also encourage your strawberries to come on a little bit quicker, so you can put some clotches over those to try and get yourself an early crop of strawberries. I'll probably start doing mine. Mine need a little bit tidying up. You can put some new strawberry plants out now if you want to as well. Another job you can do in up your allotment, and boy do we love it, is weeding. Now, I know it's a really boring job, but it's something that we all have to do. So you're looking to get in particular those perennial weeds like dandelions, thistles, nettles, those sorts of things. You need to dig them out with the roots as well. But the annual weeds, you can just hoe the tops off of them, but it's really important to get everything weeded and ready for when you start planting. Now, you can mulch after you've done that, or you can put ground cover. Ground cover does a similar thing to mulching, it's just you lift it up. And you can also put mulch underneath it and put the ground cover over as well. So I use this ground cover because it's really good. It stops the weeds from growing and it keeps the ground moist and warm. So it also means that when you start planting next year, it makes life a heck of a lot easier for you, and you've also warmed the ground up ready to start planting as well. Now, I use the same piece. I've got several pieces of ground cover, and I put it down at the end of the year and I lift it back up when I start to plant, because it really gives me a head start. And I'm going to put a link up in the right and also in the description where you can purchase some ground cover if you haven't got some. I am asked by Amazon to let you know that I do earn a little bit out of it when you do buy anything off my allotment shop, but if you think that would be useful for you, like I say, I've used it year after year and it really helps. The other alternative is just to mulch, so you can put mulch down to stop the weeds, but you can also put some mulch down and put this over the top, which I think is an awful lot easier, because sometimes even when you mulch you still get the weeds coming up. So when I put this down, I know that I'll have hardly, I'm not saying I won't have any weeds that have started to sprout a little bit, but things won't take hold like they would do. And if you don't get on top of it or get to part of your allotment as quickly as you think you're going to get for one reason or another, putting the ground cover down makes a massive difference to give you a head start. So let's head over to some of the other jobs that I've actually been doing today. So something you do need to be mindful of this year, this time of year, are pests. So the aphids will start coming along, as will the hungry pigeons. So do keep an eye out, and also the slugs and snails will also start munching away at things at this time of year. Now I've got my brassicas in there covered, so the hungry pigeons can't get to them. They are still quite tiny, but hopefully they're going to pick up. And I've also got some broad beans in there. The broad beans are more in there just to protect them from any frost that we might get. You can also feed your brassicas if you want with chicken manure, which is what I've done today. And I've also given a little bit of manure, chicken pellets to my broad beans as well. So you can start, if you've got some plants that are out like those, you can start putting some some feed down to give them a really good boost. Because I'm hoping, I've already got bloom on my broad beans, which I think is a first for me quite this early in the season. So I'm quite nervous how they're going to take. So it'll be really interesting to see over the coming months how that all pans out. Now obviously there's lots of things you can sow now, but if sowing seeds isn't for you and you'd rather buy some things already started, you can obviously go to your garden centre and buy some little plants to bring on yourself, or you can do a little bit of both. I've already got my potatoes chitting at home, which I will be putting out in March. I normally start putting them out between mid-March and hopefully get them all out by the end of April. I've also got my onion sets, which I will be putting out from about mid-March to mid-April as well. And I've also treated myself to some dahlias for cut flowers, some really quite pretty looking ones there. So I'm really looking forward to putting those out. I'm not putting those out today, but I will be getting these out in March because I want to get them off to a head start. So really looking forward to those. So I've also picked up myself some asparagus crowns. So I'm just popping those in the ground now. I've had a little bit of wild asparagus that grows at home in my home garden. It wasn't cultivated, but not quite enough. So I thought I'd try some crowns. So I'm just going to pop these. I did actually buy 2 packs, but one pack only had one tiny one in. So I'm going to take them back to the garden centre. So I'm just popping these in. So you just want to gently drop the soil in and around. Now obviously if you've never grown asparagus before, this is definitely one of the ones that you don't pick off in the first year. On the packet it said you could pick it off in the second year, but don't take too much off. So we'll just have to see what they look like in the second year, whether I think I can do that or not. So just very gently tease the soil around it like so. So there we go, let's see what this one is. It's quite exciting. I think we all love a little bit of asparagus, and to get it organic and grown yourself is a real treat. Like I say, I have a little bit at home, but not that much. Just to have my own little raised bed of asparagus is absolutely amazing. I've done a little bit of research on the internet because I've never cultivated asparagus myself, and I've been advised by the gardening channels that I can mulch around it. So I'm going to pop some of our mulch around that to stop the weeds from growing. Like I said, I will be popping another 2 in, but I've got to go back up the garden centre and get a better packet, unfortunately. So I've also got some blueberries over here, which I planted last year. And if for people that don't know, blueberries need to be kept in ericaceous soil. And when I filled this bed, I had to buy some special compost for it. While I put some other compost from my composter in the bottom and some logs and things, the bulk of this I had to buy some bags of ericaceous soil, and it's very expensive. And what I found is that the level had dropped down on these blueberries, so I needed to put some more stuff in it, and I didn't really want to pay the price of more of that expensive compost. So I decided to do a bit of Googling, and apparently I've been advised by some of the gardening channels it's perfectly okay to use mulch. We're really lucky. We get mulch, like bark and clippings and from various trees and things delivered to our allotment. So I've just popped that straight down, and hopefully that will do the job. It's certainly raised the level up for me, and hopefully my blueberries are going to do really well this year. As you can see, they're already budding really beautifully, so I'm really impressed. I've got to say, when the blueberry plants arrived last year and they were tiny little sticks and I'd paid quite a lot for them, I did start to wonder whether I'd made the right choice, but actually they're looking really quite lovely. So let's hope that I get a really good a good crop of blueberries this year. Now there are also lots of things you can be sowing at home at the moment if you want to, a whole multitude of things, but obviously you need to keep them at home, either in a heated greenhouse or, like me, I keep mine in my conservatory or on a sunny windowsill. I've got tomatoes, I've got some kale started off, I've started off some Cape gooseberries, and if you want to see the full video, I'm going to put a link up to the right there where you can click on that video and see all the things you can be sowing sowing now and planting now, and it will also be in the description. So rather than me go through all the plethora of things you can be sowing and planting now, if you head over to that video after this one, you can then look at all the things you can be getting started doing. Now, I'd like to thank everyone that's watched my video today, and if you feel that you've got value, you can do something which is called Buy Me a Coffee. There's a link up there to the right, and there is one in the description where you can buy me a coffee as a thank you. You're not obliged to do that, you don't have to do it, and if you can only just like, comment and subscribe, I would be more than grateful for that as well, because all the help I can get to grow my channel so I can show it to more and more people so they can grow their own fruit and vegetables is what I'm all about. So take care and ask any questions in the comments should you have any.